I love Jennifer Lawrence, but after watching Catching Fire, I'm starting to think that Katniss may not be the great role model for young women we once thought. No, hear me out. She starts out innocent enough, but then there's relationship trouble with Liam Hemsworth, and then after, she commits these vile acts in front of a global audience on television. I think we can all agree one is enough. I kid about Katniss, of course. She does teach great lessons about love and honor, but there are things about the Hunger Games that bugs me, and it may not be what you think. I really like that Taylor Swift song at the end of the first Hunger Games film. It was a nice end credit song. But with Catching Fire, they have a whole album of songs that aren't even in the movie. Christina Aguilera, Imagine Dragons, even Coldplay are on this album, and I just can't wrap my head around it. That's right, here on the Real School Shopping Network, you too can own a copy of this beautiful soundtrack for just $9.95, full of songs inspired by murdering children. Songs include One Less Mouth to Feed and Hope You Weren't Attached. Wow, that got dark. Although in the sequel, it's not about killing children, it's about killing senior citizens, which I guess they think is a little better. Wait. Go back to that guy? So he's older, nerdy, and African American? Wow. So in terms of a survival movie, I don't think the odds are in his favor. What worked in this film's favor, even before they started filming, was the fact that director Francis Lawrence had signed on for the next 3 Hunger Games films. This is the filmmaker who brought us Constantine and I Am Legend, so he's already proven that he could do visual and stylized sci-fi action films. However, as much as I loved his direction in previous films, when it came to Hunger Games, I didn't really notice his influence when it came to direction or style. Granted, there was already a lot of style pre-established in the first Hunger Games film. I mean, just look at all the characters who live in the capital. Cinna, Caesar, Lady Gaga. There was one character who actually stuck out because of that. Simply because he had no style. Philip Seymour Hoffman apparently didn't need style because once again his performance as new games master Plutarch Heavensbee was all about substance. But seriously, in a world where they have foot-long eyelashes and dudes dyeing their hair fuchsia, this guy gets a black suit. Suit aside, Hoffman turned in yet another mouth-breathing, apathetic asshat of a character, and he is the absolute master of playing self-righteous and privileged antagonistic characters. It isn't easy coming into an already established film franchise as a new character, but Hoffman makes it look easy. And not only, for most of the film, does he steal the spotlight from Jennifer Lawrence, but he also makes you hate him more than Donald Sutherland. So, because he made me hate and love him, Philip Seymour Hoffman is Catching Fires for the win. By the way, I think I know why President Snow replaced Seneca Crane as Games Master. You think it's a coincidence that Catching Fire opened in November? You think it's a coincidence Heavensbee has no facial hair? Looks like Snow wanted to win the Capitol's annual Movember fundraiser. And with this guy out of the way, who's to stop him? In terms of the rest of the story, I felt that Catching Fire was already in a tough place. First off, the story arc is very similar to the first film. Katniss has her troubles at home, she then has to deal with the morality before the games even start, and the third act is of course all about the games themselves. It's also the second installment of a franchise, which is often darker and used only to set up future films in the franchise. I did feel a little bored with the first half of Catching Fire, probably because I felt I'd seen it all before and felt similarly about the first film. But then, you get to the games. Without having to worry about watching children die, well, this version of the games was bigger, brighter, and better. Even the death traps were bigger and better. Poison fog, lightning strikes, and killer monkeys. Although I was really waiting for them to put the last 2 together and finally do what Peter Gabriel suggested. With the tropical setting and having an older, diverse cast, well, I could get into the games even more than I did in the first film. It was like Survivor on crack, which is ironic because I think Survivor Toronto is supposed to be next season. Okay, enough topical humor for today. As I mentioned, there are pacing issues, but it is a very beautiful film with a very interesting story. More importantly, it made me feel like I cannot wait for future installments of this franchise, which is exactly what the second part of a franchise should do. I love the darker tone of this one. I wanted to see more. That's an earn it in my books. Poll question, who is your favorite Hunger Games character? movie, or book? As always, leave your answers in the comment section below. But until next time, school's out.